The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, over the weekend joined his alma mater, Christ the King College in Onitsha, to celebrate its 90th Founders' Day. The former Anambra State governor shared pictures of the visit in a post on X, stating that the college has stood as a beacon of discipline, knowledge, moral integrity, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. Last week, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, also paid a visit to his alma mater, Central Primary School in Adamawa State, where he received a resounding welcome. To see this, I mean, the importance and the relevance of the alma mater. I mean, yesterday I spoke with, professors from the University of Ibadan, where they celebrated their anniversary over the weekend. And, they talked about the fact that, these big individuals, continue to contribute to their schools. And, funding is quite important. I think Atiku also offered scholarship, to mark his 77th birthday during that visit. But, social media is very notorious with, stories like this. A lot of people are calling on, the president as well to probably visit his alma mater.
Yeah, hello now. Hey, my country people. When I see this video, in fact, everybody they mock Tinubu say, Peter Obi go back to the school we be say for finish. Atiku go back to the school way for finish. Oga Presido, which country you go school? Where you go school? No, we no know. You not get classmates, you not get mama, you not get papa, you not get brother, you not get sister, you not get community, you not get anybody. Okay. Then you constantly force yourself to become president. Maybe they honor you, they battle you. My country people, you not finish there. Or the next thing now with the year, say the man don't stick ba. Or wait ba. You don't still carry a private jet, don't come out. It don't still come out though. They say don't still go Dubai. Hey, my country people, this is serious. Tinubu not they finish from one place. Wait till you want go find. You want go borrow money. Because anytime we come from trouble, we go the year billions, trillions. Then with the year, he wants to go borrow. Wait till his ancestors don't fair do. He don't still carry the same hand for follow them. Borrow. He not finish there. Oh. They say Nigerian Senate don't invite Dangote refinery and the NIPCO gas. Make the con explain how 120 billion say miss for central bank. Now wow. I don't know whether they question people will be say they get authority over. The way they don't get authority over, don't they question them. My country people, would they hear say Nigeria external debt, all the money where they borrow, the profile, they say it go show us now. It go show us say the thing it don't decline where is now 51.759. My country people, where will they go? Tinubu just kill his country. Go reach grand. Yet we never see what we define. Now, wow.
And the president said he is, in his renewed hope budget, is prioritizing job creation, security, and poverty alleviation. Now, if you go through the whole gamut of the budget, you will see that there are similarities between the budget we are having today and the one we have had last year. That is the emphasis on making up for the budget through borrowing. Now, assessing a budget intellectually, first of all, you have to tally it against the last year's budget, and then tally it against the priorities of the government, and then you tally it against the reality and the needs of the country. Now, in every sense of the word, 27 trillion is about $33 billion. And budgets are estimate. And as usual, it's been pivoted on the benchmark for crude oil and then unified exchange rate as we have it on the ground. Now, if you are to assess it, you will see that this is his first time of appearing before the National Assembly and presenting a budget. Now, you can only fairly assess him when it comes to what becomes of the budget by the end of the year. But if you are
in terms of budget performance,
budget performance and funding the budget itself. But if you look at the critical areas the country needs that intervention, which is specifically on poverty, the removal of fuel subsidy and other issues has seriously led to the increase in poverty in the country. And from all the indices, there are more poor people in the country now than we have had in the last 2 or 3 years. So the need to allocate resources to address this is very important. Security challenges are also issues that we have been dealing with. There has been of recent a surge in terms of the collapse of security in parts of the country. So resources need to be pumped in there. And when you talk of job creation, this has always been the mantra for every government when it comes to office, that is going to create jobs and jobs. But from what we have seen in this budget, we will fairly assess him if he was able to fund the budget and performed beyond the average as far as the scores are concerned. But as far as I know, that the figures now shows that we are going to service a debt with 8 trillion, and then we're going to borrow 8 trillion, and then we're going to service it with 7 trillion. It means we're not going much away from the debt as it is now. Yeah. And then when you also look at the capital expenditure and the debt servicing, there have been a significant improvement comparative to what we have had last year. And debt servicing, under Buhari, there was a claim that almost about 70 to 80% of national debt is used to service debt. But from the figures here, I think it's within the range of 40-something%, yeah. Which of course gives room for enough resources to be used for capital purposes. So
isn't that even in itself almost 44% or thereabout? Out of the 27 trillion is used in servicing that. Isn't that in itself huge?
Well, the point is that for you to continue to be relevant and viable economically, I think you must be financially responsible. You borrow money, you have to pay. Yeah. If you don't pay, you cannot borrow. So if you do it, that's the way the system works.
We are borrowing more. So I just imagine for an average person watching tonight is someone who is earning 100,000 a month. Out of the 100,000, you are paying about 45,000. 45,000 naira out of that money is used in servicing debt. You take transportation out of it. You take feeding out of it, you imagine what is left. So I mean, just imagine and making it as lay and as bare as it could be. And we are borrowing more. That's the question I'm asking.
Well, like I've said, the budget has always been an annual ritual of government, where estimation, guesstimation, and hopes are raised. But at the end of the day, what becomes of it? How does that budget impact on the life of people in terms of education, health, infrastructure, transportation, and so many fields in terms of poverty, alleviation, the manufacturing sector? He has about, I think, 8-point agenda. Mm-hmm. And going by this budget, I do not think that impacts can be made, but it is certainly not going to meet up the target which he has set for himself as a government. So I can say it clearly that this budget is not much different from the one that was inherited, but there is hope in the sense that those who crafted this budget and also the elements that have been enlisted to steer the economic ship of state are people who have over the years proven their worth, and I believe that they will do better than the last government.
So let me bring in Mr. Onibide into the conversation. You look at it, Senator Shehu Sani had described it using a global financial indices, using the dollar to capture the essence of the budget. It's about $33 billion. And in that sense, the budget minister had said that there is an upward improvement on the cap of the budget from about 1.5 trillion or so. The budget increased from the last budget and now. But if you look at it, what was the dollar to the naira in exchange rate the last time? Does the 1.5 trillion or thereabout increase in the budget total estimate? Does it even? I mean, is there any significant difference? I'd like to know your thought in some of the figures that have emerged. The assumptions, are they realistic? 750 naira to the dollar. They're looking at $77 per barrel in terms of the assumption of. I'm looking at some of the figures that we have that probably going on the screen. The assumptions of the basics of the budget and whether or not those make sense in terms of the realities that we have on the ground. That's $77.96 per barrel of oil. The assumption on the exchange rate and the daily production of oil. Those estimates, what do you make of it, Seun?
Thank you so much. And I get your point about the dollar equivalency issue. Let's first say that the prior budget, the project in the administration of Muhammadu Buhari, it lacked a lot of credibility because they threw a lot of numbers out, but they could not back it up with actual revenues. Those were the years where the budget were the revenue projection was 11 trillion naira. But by the time you look at the actual revenue, they didn't get up to 6 trillion naira for most of those years. So in a way, it was just a borrowing galore. And I think that was the big problem there. So I think where the budget stands now, I still feel like it's still beyond, it's above what we should be. I don't think our national budget should be more than 20 trillion naira in my own view, because you have to benchmark against the revenue that we are earning. But let's also agree that because of the current devaluation, especially receipts that are in dollars, the federal government is going to earn more. But also has challenges also on the foreign debt settlement part. The way I see this budget is that there's a bit of interest in resetting the macroeconomic fundamentals. And let's not forget that that's what has pushed us into.
Now, yeah, you also if you draw the curtain, my contributors on my Bod TV, but don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Area, I allow na food. Wakoyo.